All right. Hi, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. What's your name?
Jess.
Jess, nice to meet you. My name is Emma, and I am a social worker here at Explore Employment Services. Our mission here is to provide resources and support for people who are experiencing trials because of recent job loss.
Okay.
So before we start, I just want to let you know that everything said here today will stay here unless you're going to hurt yourself or others. Then I am forced to report that to higher authorities. But this intake form that we're going to fill out today will stay here in the agency, and the only people that will have access to it are the social workers that are employed here.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start off with some basic information just to get a better sense of who you are.
Okay.
So what's your name?
Jess Williams.
Okay. And how old are you?
20.
And your gender identification?
Female.
And your race?
I'm white.
Okay. When were you born?
09/30/96.
Right. And just what languages do you speak?
Just English.
Just English, all right. Okay. And again, if you don't feel comfortable answering any of these questions at any point, you can feel free to let me know and we can skip and move on to the next question. So your marital status?
Single.
All right. And do you have a phone number that you can be reached at?
Sure. 518-832-7976.
All right. And an email address?
Just JessicaWilliams@gmail.
All right. And would you like to give us an emergency contact person?
Sure. My mom.
Okay.
Sherry Williams.
Sherry. All right. And what is her number?
518-832-7962.
Okay, perfect. All right, Jessica, have you ever been convicted of a felon before? And where have you currently been living?
In an apartment in Albany.
Okay. And do you live with other people?
Yes, I live with my sister.
Okay. Just the two of you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is she older or younger than you?
Younger.
Okay. And do you have access to a personal vehicle at home?
Yes.
Do you rely mostly on that vehicle or
Yeah.
public transportation?
Mostly on my vehicle.
Mostly on that vehicle. Okay. And do you have any current physical or mental health problems that we should be aware of?
Nope.
All right. And are you currently on any medication?
No. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So I want to take a look at a little more about what brought you in today.
Okay.
So in your own words, why do you think that you came in today to make this appointment?
I lost my job recently, and I'm trying to go to school, so I'm running out of money.
Okay. And what was this previous job that you had?
I was a waitress.
Okay. And what roles did you have at this restaurant?
Just traditional waitress role.
Traditional roles, okay. All right, and can you explain to me how this recent job loss has affected your day-to-day lifestyle?
Sure. Well, I work nights, so now I lost my job. I haven't had as much money to pay for gas or textbooks and obviously rent and food.
Definitely. All right. And with help from our agency, what is kind of your big goal, or what would you like to get out of this session?
I'd like some assistance because I'm trying to go to school right now, so I can't exactly work full-time. So I'm trying to make ends meet, rather, until I get my degree.
Definitely. All right. So let's go into a little bit more information about given expenses. Do you have any children that you're responsible for right now? Okay. And you said you lived with your sister. Are you financially responsible for her as well?
No.
Okay. So you're currently enrolled in school. You said you're a college student.
Yes.
How many years have you
Going to school?
gone to school? Yeah.
So I'm in my second year right now.
Second year. Okay. And what are you studying?
Political science.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. So what financial expenses do you have in your life right now that are at the top of your list?
Probably rent and food. And then utilities, obviously.
Okay.
And then it trickles down to, like, my school's expenses.
And what other kind of school expenses are we talking about?
Well, I have loans to pay, and then I have just my textbooks and gas to get to school. And I think that's it.
Okay, so you commute from your apartment to
Yes.
school. And what school do you go to?
Siena College.
All right. Do you have any other sources of income right now?
No.
And are you receiving financial assistance from other people in your life?
Other than, like, just the government.
Okay.
No.
All right, so looking back on your previous job, can you kind of give me a rundown of all the jobs that you've ever had and kind of what your responsibilities at these
Sure.
occupations were?
So, mostly until, I would say, I started my freshman year, it's just been, like, summer job, mostly waitressing. And then, once I got to college, I went part-time.
Okay.
In the same waitress job.
And how many years did you have that job for?
I believe it was 2 years.
Okay. What kind of restaurant was it?
Denny's.
Oh my gosh. Wonderful. All right. So how long have you been without a job?
I would say a month.
Okay. And in that last month, what attempts have you made to seek information about new jobs?
I have been looking for other jobs. I've gone on several websites and been looking for some. I've applied to some, but I haven't heard back from any.
Okay. How many jobs do you think you've applied to?
3.
Okay. Was there something that you think caused the unemployment?
No, I don't believe I did anything like particularly wrong. I think they were just letting go of a few staff members.
Just making cuts.
Yeah.
All right. So I want us to now change gears and think about the next job that we want you to have.
Okay.
So thinking about this future job, do you think you want it to be more part-time or full-time?
Part-time.
Okay. And what is the furthest distance that you would be willing to travel for this new job?
Probably 20 miles because I have to stay close to the school.
How many classes are you taking? right now?
5.
5 classes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty big workload. Okay. And you said you have a vehicle, so that would be your
Yes.
mode of transportation to that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. And are we thinking that nighttime works best or daytime?
Nighttime.
Nighttime? Are the majority of your classes in the daytime?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if you had to explain to me what your dream job looked like, what would that be?
Right now, because I'm just working on my degree, I don't really mind what job it is, just as long as it's kind of stable. I'm trying to think. I don't really mind whatever it is.
All right. That's good. Very flexible.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the flip side, are there any jobs that you think you would not want, you would have no interest in?
I prefer nothing with, like, heavy physical labor.
Okay.
Trying to think. I think that's just it, really.
Okay. Knowing those limits is important,
exactly.
so that's great. Okay. So let's think of some skills that you have as a future employer.
Mm-hmm.
So let's brainstorm. What do you think that your biggest skills and strengths are?
I'm very organized. I can work well with others. Trying to think of it. It feels like a job interview.
Yeah, no stress.
Yeah.
Whatever you can think of.
Punctual.
Good one.
I think that's good.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great list. Are there any skills that you think you want to work more on developing? Maybe they're not your strongest right now, but you think that a job could really help develop those?
Yeah, I think it would help me get more organized if I had, like, a set schedule, especially if I had set hours with work.
And having a more stable scheduled
Yeah.
job would be more beneficial for you,
I think so.
Okay. All right. Do you have anyone that could serve as a reference for future job applications?
Yeah, I could use my previous job.
Okay. And who was your employer at that job?
John Smith.
John Smith, okay. And do you have contact information for him?
Yes, do you want it?
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Sure. I think it's 518
Okay.
862-7942.
And that was the Denny's restaurant?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Do you already have a resume?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you think it's up to date?
Yes.
All right. That's wonderful. That's a good step to have. And do you think that you have any other interesting things that a future employer might want to know about you?
Probably that I go to school, because then they
Mm-hmm.
know that, like, trying to do something with my life.
And you said you're a poli-sci major. Do you
Yes.
have any big goals after college?
I would like to get involved in government. But
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Okay. Explain to me one thing that scares you about getting a new job.
That would it would, like, hinder my ability to do, like, my schoolwork. Because obviously that comes first.
Mm-hmm. And what is one thing that really excites you about having a new job?
It would give me something to do other than just stress about school.
All right. Is there anything else that kind of comes to mind when you think of things that will excite you about this future job?
It would give me more stability.
Okay.
I wouldn't have to worry about making ends meet.
All right. Can you tell me a little bit more about your involvement on your school campus and other obligations that you have?
Sure. I'm in the poli-sci club, in the pre-law club, and the Democratic club as well.
Wonderful. Okay. Okay. And what is the time commitment for these?
They're pretty low commitment. You just
Okay.
meet once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Usually doing 12-ish.
Okay. Okay. And how are your grades doing? How are your classes?
Good. I believe they're all A's and B's.
Oh, wonderful. Great job.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite class that you're in right now?
Probably just contemporary politics.
Okay. Is there something you like the most about that class?
It kind of focuses on the Constitution, and that's pretty interesting.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's good for someone who wants to go into government. That's really great. All right. Now, you mentioned that you were living with your sister. Can you go into a little bit more detail about the relationship that you have with her?
Sure. We grew up together. She's 2 years younger than me, so she's just getting into college as well. She's going to St. Rose, which is in Albany.
Okay.
Um,
That's convenient that you're
Yeah.
both close by.
exactly.
Now, in terms of the finances for that apartment, do they lie mostly on you, or is it a split?
It's 50-50.
Okay. And is she employed right now?
Yes.
Okay. Where does she work?
She works, I think, at a library.
Okay.
Library at her school.
Do you have other siblings or family members close by?
I have a brother about an hour north.
Okay. And are there parents in the picture? Legal
Yes,
guardians?
They
parents?
are also a little bit farther north as well.
Okay. And what is your relationship with them?
They're good.
Okay. And would you say that they are helping to contribute or not helping?
Sometimes they don't really have the extra money to
Okay.
contribute, but
What do your parents do for jobs?
my mother's a nurse and my dad works in computers.
Okay. Now, what is your mindset or your view on finances and money?
In terms of
Just in terms of, like, importantness, how
Oh.
you value it. Do you think that it's contributing to your stress, or is it not contributing?
I think the lack of it is contributing to my
Okay.
stress. I think it's important and I try not to spend it too crazy and focus on putting it towards my bills first and
Mm-hmm.
fun stuff second.
All right. Okay, so let's go back to that goal that we have, that you made in the beginning, that you said that you really want some assistance in finding a job.
Yes.
So you were telling us a little bit about how you've been looking on some websites.
Mm-hmm.
What were those websites that you were using, and did you find them helpful?
Yeah, I used. Do you want like the actual names?
Just the search engine, yeah.
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
you can.
I just Googled, what's it called? Like, applications
Okay.
in my area.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a few restaurant jobs that popped up. And then what else did you want to know? Sorry.
Did you find that those were helpful resources?
Yes, I thought so. I found a few. I said I applied to 3, so I'm waiting to hear back, but sometimes that takes a while, so
Definitely.
I'm just...
And what was the time frame in which those applications were sent out?
Probably a week and a half after I lost my job. Sorry, I was trying to do the timeline.
Okay. All right. And how do you think that a new job is going to positively affect your life, and how do you think it's negatively going to affect your life?
Well, it will take time away from school, but it does take away the stress of having to worry about how I'm going to pay my bills and rent.
All right. That's great that you're able to see both sides of how it's going to bring you the finances, but it's definitely going to take away some of your free time as well. All right. So we're almost running out of time, but before we move on to our closing, do you have any more questions or concerns about this process?
Not to rush it, do you know how long it takes, like a timeline-ish?
So usually it'll depend on the employer.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be a quicker turnaround for job applications. Some employers do receive a lot of them, so it can really depend on the situation.
Okay.
But I think what our next step will be is I do think that we should have a follow-up meeting.
Okay.
We could perhaps work on editing through your resume, maybe working together to fill out a few more job applications.
Okay.
And I do think that if you haven't heard back from the previous applications that you've sent in, together we could go through practicing how we could call those companies,
Okay.
kind of inquiring about the status of where those applications lie, if that sounds good with you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look. How about if we meet in 2 weeks? Do you think that would be feasible? All right, let's see. Let me just look at my calendar. Does March 20th work?
Yes.
Okay, and that's a Friday, kind of the same time that we're doing now.
Okay.
All right, and does the afternoons work, the morning?
Yeah, afternoon is fine.
Afternoon? Okay.
Anytime after 1 is okay.
All right, so how about we do 2 o'clock on Friday the 20th?
Okay.
All righty. And if you have any free time at the end of, or if you have any follow-up questions, or if you're just kind of confused about the process, or if you have any free time and you're filling out more job applications, and you do come into questions or concerns, there's my business card. Feel free to call me or the office at any time during business hours, and we will pick up. And if no one can answer the phone at that time, leave a message, and we'll call back as soon as we can. All right. Well, it was so nice meeting you.
You too.
Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
Yes,
Best of luck with everything.